Listen up, Earth Angels. What do I call this? I don't even remember. Um, oh, you can't run from your calling forever. Most people spend a lot of time, you included, me included, trying to figure out what their purpose is and to make sure that they don't miss their calling. But then when their calling comes a calling, they resist it, especially if their calling looks different than how they expected, especially if their calling um, is different than what their parents expected of them, what you've trained for, what other people around you think is realistic. And so the call comes, their calling comes, and they run away from it. But listen, babe, it was like ordained before you even got here. You chose this in another lifetime. You can't run from your calling forever. The call is going to keep getting louder and more incessant and more nagging. And you're going to have to answer it, okay? So stop running. Let me introduce myself first, okay? My name is Sheba. I'm a transformation specialist, sovereignty coach, and ex lawyer. And I empower women, leaders, and creators to unleash their true selves, walk in purpose as divine disruptors, and create the life of their dreams. So, yeah, this is for my message for people who identify with being a seer, with being a light leader, with being something different than a traditional thing, doctor, lawyer, whatever. You know that you're here for more, and the calling has been coming. You've been seeing all the confirmations, all the synchronicities, all of the, reflections that reflect to you what your calling is. It comes up in songs, it'll come up in movies, in your YouTube algorithm. You keep clicking on people who are saying something that resonates with you, something that resonates with something deep within you. Your logical mind can override it. And a lot of times that's what we do, right? Remember in like Beetlejuice, there's magical, supernatural things happening all around, but so many people are just pretend that doesn't exist. And they're like, no, that's probably just like a leaky pipe or creaking floorboards. It's nothing magical. It's nothing, out of the ordinary. And so we can do that with our calling sometimes. If it's a little bit too outside of what like a traditional familiar kind of calling is, you might ignore it. You might be like, no, that'll never work. Your logical brain will talk you out of your calling. But babe, it's just gonna get so much more annoying. Like the longer you stay out of your calling, as long as you like ignore it and put it on do not disturb and you like see it come up and you just try to go about your day, it's going to get loud and it's going to get uncomfortable. And eventually, like I said, like you chose this before you even got here. You chose what your calling was going to be, so it's out of your hands. In fact, even if you spend your life trying to avoid your calling, you're just going to end back, you know, fulfilling your destiny of carrying out your calling. So, yeah, the saying is one's destiny is often found on the path he takes to avoid it. So, some people might hear what their destiny is, they might understand their calling, they might get it from all these sources, but they're like, oh no, that's weird, that can't be, oh no. And so they try to do something else, but you know, it doesn't turn out how they think it is, and they end up right back on the path to their calling. They hear their calling and they're like, oh no, I think I'm gonna take this job instead or something, or I'm gonna go with this relationship instead. It's safer, it makes sense. And they do that. And then spirit, the universe, removes that opportunity. It removes that person, the relationship. It makes the environment so intolerable, so, exhaustive. It'll take so much energy to be out of your calling that you're gonna be forced into your calling anyway. Okay? And if you're like me, you're someone who hates being forced into doing anything. You're just repelled by someone trying to compel you to do something. So you might as well just listen to the calling. Your calling is there to help you. It's to help you remember who you are, remember your power. So for myself, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I was just standing outside in my kimono talking to the trees on a Tuesday, and my neighbor came by and was like, I have to tell you something. I was like, oh, okay. So I go over and she's like, yeah, I don't know if you know this, and I don't really know why I'm telling you this, but I have to tell you, um, you're a seer. This woman I don't really know. I've seen her walk by, the house because she's in the neighborhood, but she finally comes up to me to deliver the message to me. You're a seer. And, I do know that I'm a seer actually, but like, I used to be a lawyer. I come from a long line of kind of people who are in traditional, typical matrix employment. And so it's like, it's hard for me to like fully accept and embody that I'm in this new identity. Like I've transitioned from this more typical, human, logical way of doing things to a more spiritual, mystical, magical way of doing things. And I'm still like, ooh, I don't want people to think I'm crazy. It's hard for me to fully accept who I am. And so the universe sends people to my house to remind me of who I am and to make sure that I am not trying to, you know, reject or back away from who I am. So she was saying like, yeah, sometimes people will try to make you feel like, being a seer is evil or, you're a witch, but, that's not what's happening. And I was like, girl, please. Like, I identify more with being a sorceress. A witch is a little common for me. So, um, and she laughed and, she told me she was a seer herself. And yeah, and she was like, okay, well, I just wanted to deliver that message to you. And then she went on her way. And that was weeks ago, and I haven't seen her since. What? So it doesn't even matter if you live a life like mine and you're just like at your own home. I have this Cancer moon, so I love being in my own home, in my own nurturing environment. So it doesn't even matter though if you're not out amongst the crowd, if you're still in a period of being a hermit, of isolation, your calling is going to find you. Spirit will send strangers to your doorstep to remind you of your calling. And so after a while, it's like you're going to realize you're spending more energy running from the calling that keeps coming rather than just accepting it. Listen, the call is coming because you're the recipient. You're the one who's supposed to receive the message. You know exactly what you're supposed to do with the information. If you weren't the person who was supposed to receive the calling, it wouldn't make any sense to you. It wouldn't stick in you. It wouldn't pop up randomly. You wouldn't make the connection that it was your calling if it wasn't supposed to be your calling. So just accept it, okay? And embrace it. So, this random woman, walked up to my house and told me that I'm a seer. And so recently I follow this woman, Taylor Eaton. She does a lot of wealth activation, and she has a sale going where she you get one of her oracle decks, and she gives you a one card pull with it, with a written message. Let me tell you the message that I received when I bought my oracle deck. Okay, so I got the oracle deck, and the card that she pulled was the seer. The seer. So let me tell you what she wrote. So the card I pulled for you is the seer. One of your greatest gifts is your ability to see potential. You have the exceptional ability to identify possibilities where others may not see them, to see opportunities where others see only roadblocks, to see infinite timelines and outcomes where others become stuck on a single path. Whoa. And I know that about myself. I know that I am someone who, I don't know, where other people, don't see anything special. I'm like, oh my God, this is so brilliant and valuable and beautiful. I'm able to see value and opportunity and possibility where others just can't see it. Others feel stuck. And I'm like, oh my God, there's so many ways you could get out of this. Easy ways. So powerful. So you might also be a seer. So let me relay this message to you. Because if you are, you're going to keep getting this calling from lots of different people. So I'm honored to be able to be one of those people to remind you of who you are. And here's how to work with this energy, how to harness and integrate your calling. Okay. Greater abundance is waiting for you when you bring conscious awareness to your gift, to your calling. In my case, and in your case, maybe being a seer. Greater abundance is waiting for you when you bring conscious awareness to your gift and intentionally leverage it. Look for the potential for abundance in each moment. Find the path to prosperity in each situation. Seek out opportunities for calling in money that put you in positions where you can think outside the box and inspire people to do the same. Here's a mantra. Every moment holds infinite paths to prosperity. Listen. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I love a clear message. I pulled a couple tarot cards because I am, getting more comfortable with different forms of divination. I just be straight channeling on these typically. So I like to now learn to link it to, other cards. So anyway, I pulled the Seven of Wands, which is about standing your ground, standing up for what you believe, what you're passionate about. Justice, which is about truth and fairness and, kind of reciprocity. And that, authenticity is your protection. Truth is your protection. And the Six of Swords, which is about moving from turmoil to clarity. You're moving into calmer waters. And, the truth is becoming clear. And all you got to do is just stand on business. If you feel like, oh, it's cringe and, oh, I don't know, babe, that's just what it is, okay? You have to just accept who you are. It's cringe because it's powerful. I wish it could be another way, but and so I was like, wow, this message, the tarot card message is all about moving to calmer waters. So you maybe have this fear of like stepping into this identity fully because it's so unfamiliar to you. And you're afraid that, like, because it's unfamiliar to you and the collective, it's like a non-traditional way of thinking about things. Um, you like don't want people to think you're crazy or whatnot, but like, listen, babe, the truth is the truth, no matter how crazy it sounds. And so all you got to do is stand firm, sturdy in your belief in yourself, in your vision. You know, you are heading to calmer waters. It will be clear because you're a seer. So, yeah, the more you try to avoid that, maybe row backwards or like, I don't know, close your eyes and try to be normal, try to be what other people expect you to do, the worse you're going to feel. You're probably going to have weird psychosomatic manifestations. Your tummy's going to hurt. You're going to have brain fog. You're going to feel really fatigued. It's because you're spending your energy suppressing your truth, suppressing your vision. You're using your logic to keep yourself stuck, to, keep your reality small rather than creating and expanding reality like you're here to do. So, yeah. So, you can't run from your calling forever, babe. And the sooner you just accept it, the sooner you just accept it, sit with it, have a heart to heart with it, integrate it, the easier things are going to be. The more things are going to start to, synchronize and be in alignment. More of your manifestations are going to come in. You're going to be introduced to more aligned and resonant supporters and team. People who are going to totally understand what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're trying to do and articulate. They're going to be like, oh, yes, absolutely. We totally get that. And the more you resist your calling, the worse you're going to feel because you're just constantly practicing overriding your truth, your senses, you're gaslighting yourself. And that's just for what, babe? All to run from your destiny? You can't do it. It's out of your hands. It's foolproof. You couldn't mess it up if you tried. So all you can do is just make the journey more like, arduous, more stressful. Why are you going to do that, babe? Why are you going to do that, babe? Okay. So don't wait or do wait, for someone to come to your house to tell you, remind you of your calling. Or, different readers, different, you're going to get the message. Spirit is going to send the message in many different ways. You can't miss it and you can't mess it up. So why are you running? Wow. I'm getting so good at this. Yeah. So I've delivered the message. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to work with me one-on-one, head on over to my website, seelikesheba.com, and go back and watch these episodes. There's a powerful through line, but you can also just like watch a random one and it will have your powerful message for the day. But when you go back, connect all the dots, you're going to see how I became the woman who went from easily receiving $5,000 every month to effortlessly receiving $100,000 every single month. And that is because I stopped running from my calling. I embraced it. I integrated it. I integrated it. I don't know, I chopped that up like that. And then everything started to flow. Once I brought myself in alignment, once I stopped, trying to perform who I thought I was supposed to be and started to rest in who I was, that that's when everything just started to flow and align and reflect back what I already knew, reminded me of what I'm here for, of my calling. And it'll work for you too. All right, Earth Angels. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Love you so much. Yeah. Bye.